Hello, cool. How are you? How have I been bloody rough? I've there's a few videos. I've stuck a few videos up over the past. I think it's about the last 2 weeks actually. I've been absolutely freaking dreadful. Lyme's disease. Lyme disease. Something is something is kicked in and kicked it off again. So I'm thinking, anybody does the spooky twos, right? Okay, be very very careful if you leave it on a kill cycle and just bugger off and leave it on a run kill cycle. I know nobody's going to understand this, like, but it takes sort of working out why you feel so absolutely appalling. It's called a Herxheimer reaction, and basically. You feel worse. You're actually killing the virus or the bacteria, not virus, the bacteria that's inside of you. Like, but because you're killing them, they actually die and they putrefy inside you, and they cause make you feel, oh Jesus, Jesus. And I've been absolutely floored. I am now making a dash for home because basically I've been so bloody unwell, and it's been quite weird. It's just keep trying to keep it. I can't even been able to keep abreast of what sort of like is going on, sort of like politically and everything at the moment. I know Tommy's got this big thing on the 23rd. He seems to be full up Tommy Robinson up. Tommy Robinson centric. He's talking about himself in the third person almost at the moment. Come on, Tommy, get a grip, mate. Yeah, but hopefully he said he's going to bring down the BBC. Now that seems quite a huge sort of thing. But if it does, I mean, that would be very, 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 very interesting. And I've got to get over here because I'm right in the middle of the bloody road. Okay, yeah, that would be bloody interesting. And yeah, and there's some yellow vest protests going on in Swindon, and nothing going on in Bristol. But Bristol's very, very, very progressive. Very, very progressive, and sort of like a Corbynisterville, Bristol, Corbynisterville. Yeah, and when the Civil War does kick off. Yeah, I don't know if you know about Bristol. Actually, I'm a Bristol boy myself. Actually, in fact, I was walking around the graveyard this morning, and I found my complete namesake in the thing, like same name, same middle name, same surname that I was born with, and I was quite pleased to see that he lived till 79 years, which he died about 100 years ago, but he lived till 79 years, which is quite good. I hope I make that far. Mind you, the last couple of days I thought I wasn't going to make the weekend out, but anybody wants to form a Lyme's disease support group, they're more than welcome to get in touch with me. You can just adders45@gmail.com, adders45@gmail.com. That's the direct email. I don't mind giving out my email. If anybody wants to send me rubbish and shit in my email, they have to go with all the other rubbish and shit that I get. So yeah, and so I'm really, really out of touch. But the one thing that is really quite scary that I saw this morning was Jewish families in a sort of like a quarter, a region of Paris. They call it quarters over there, in a region of Paris, all the Jewish families have had a letter through their door saying if they didn't move and leave the sort of like the parish, they would be killed. Now I think that is pretty fucking heavy, really. I don't know about you. Now my mother was Jewish, which makes me Jewish apparently. My grandmother was Jewish. She was a Jewish woman. My mother always wore the star and told me I was Jewish. I think she meant I was tight. I'm not sure. I think it was pejorative when my mother called me Jewish. Yeah, yeah, no, but it's. I mean, that's amazing. that in this day and age, well, this day and age is actually becoming the day and age. I think, you know, to be quite honest, I think we're heading for bloody hell, a huge war. Now, I've also learnt something actually over the past couple of things, because when I'm ill, I tend to sort of like lie down and do research and read and do things like that, and because I can't do bugger all else, and sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep. But one of the things I did do a little bit of research about was, you know, a different history of the First World War and the Second World War. Not sort of like what happened and what bombs went off where and who did what, where and when, but the reason why the whole conflicts actually were enacted, and from a slightly different perspective. And it all comes from the something called the Black Venetians. I know, I mean, and even David Icke. David Icke. Yes, I know, that's skinny ground a little bit, because I love David Icke, you know, but, you know, I mean, he's Captain Conspiracy Theory, like, but this isn't the conspiracy theory. This is basically, they're called Black Venetians because they wore black jewelry, and they had black pearls and things like that. You know, they were super rich, and their families and everything like that usurped all the British royal families. All the House of Hanovers were black Venetians. They usurped and everything like that. Even the Rothschilds and everything like that come all the way from them. I mean, they're very industrious families and everything like that. And they actually sort of like familiarly had control of the world over what it looks like for centuries and centuries. You know, which is, you know, it's no mean feat, is it really? And well, the actual the reason for the First and the Second War was to stop Germany and Russia joining forces, because you have the industriousness of the German peoples, which we have to face it, like, you know, Deutsch, doin, Deutsch technique, or whatever the bloody word is, like, you know, the cars, the Audi, the development, you know, they are very good at that sort of thing. I have worked with German designers and I've worked with German engineers in my time, like, you know, they do over prepare. When we've been designing something, yeah, mechanically, like to do something with this German engineer that I work with all the time, I used to say, right, let's build it now. And he said, we are not ready. We have to go work and we have to work out these parameters. I said, no, we got to build it now. And if we go off half cock now, we can find out where we're falling down on. Because no matter what you do, no matter how much preparation you do, you will always end up going off half cock. Because that's the nature of the beasts. Yeah, so I did find that they over thing, like, you know, if you look at German tanks in the Second World War, like, you know, beautifully made, beautiful welds, beautifully engineered, absolutely beautiful. But these things are getting shells fired at them. You know, you need them, you know, if you look at the Russian tanks, like, really thrown together and bodged, you know. So it was the two ends of the scales. But if those two got together, you'd have the Russian capacity they've got manpower, they've got, you know, building capacity, they've got everything like that, and you've got the German sort of like technological advances. You know, you've got to think a powerhouse that could actually dominate the world, and that was why the First and Second World War really were carried out, to separate Germany and Russia. And if you remember, at the beginning of the Second World War, Hitler actually had a pact with Stalin. But politically, that got undermined by the Churchills of this world, and the British, we don't want them, because, I mean, basically it harks back to the British Empire, and we are sort of like part of the American Empire, or the Britain, you know, is argument whether there's, you know, who's actually in control of the American empire, whether it's Britain or things like that. Like, but I'm not going to go into that. That gets into the David Icke realms. It actually Britain's running America still. But I'm not getting into that. But I'm just saying that there's Britain, there's America, there's Israel, and there's places like let me think, Australia. Yeah, all those, you know, sort of English-speaking parts of the world are sort of like all part of almost like one idea. Like they're part of one sort of like big sort of globalized economies. And there is a sort of like a case that, you know, the EU was another way of stopping Germany and Russia joining forces, although we had East Germany, and that's what the whole Cold War, that was what the whole Cold War was about. It was to stop Germany unifying with Russia. You know, I mean, that's why we kept hold of Berlin and all this lot. I mean, financially, it cost us an absolute arm and a leg, but it was worth it because it stopped them getting them together. But at the current time, politically, behind the scenes, we've got possibility of almost like a unification of Germany and France. I know France, I mean, it's a shit pit at the moment. Yeah, there you go, messenger. Okay, there you go. It's a shit pit at the moment, but if Germany and France and Russia unify, then we've got a world superpower that can take on the United States, China, everybody. You know, really, they could actually take on, because they're actually scared. And there you come, there's your World War III. And that is basically the conspiracy theory there, that World War III. Yeah. So this is one of the things why everybody hates in the power, everybody hates Brexit. Because it's sort of like pushing Germany, Brexit is pushing Germany towards Russia. There you go. And you think, why is everybody so anti-Brexit? Like, because it's sort of like not really that bad. But there you go, that's why everybody is so anti-Brexit. But anyway, peace and love, people. We've only got 45 or 44 days to go to Brexit. Can't wait. I'm in business, and crying out loud, I tell you what, it'd be so good when we got through. You know, before a general election in business, the 6 weeks before a general election, oh Jesus, it's absolutely a pain in the ass, because business just goes, for whatever reason, people just stop spending money. And you're thinking, you know, it doesn't matter who gets in, why you stop spending money. And the moment the election's over, it all comes bouncing back. You know, you start, yeah. But the amount of money it costs having a general election, the invisible cost of having a general election, like to actual sort of like the high street, to small businesses and things like that, it's quite incredible. It really is quite incredible. And you know, so it's, you know, stability is good. Political stability is good for business in the long run, as long as we are in the capitalist system. Yeah, capitalism is possibly nearly the worst system in the world, but it's the best we've got. Ciao.